Welcome to the Multiplayer Podcast. This is the most professional video game podcast raved by critics everywhere. On the Multiplayer Podcast, we break down a different multiplayer game each episode, talk a little bit about video game news, and just goof around. This week, we're talking about the hottest thing since CSGO, Valorant. If you've never been on Twitch, Valorant is the newest, hottest, objective-based first-person shooter. But before we jump into the game, let me introduce the serial reviewer himself, Paul.
What's cooking, good looking?
I love it. That's your best one yet.
You would like that one.
It's my catchphrase.
And Josh.
I'm going to go Ric Flair. Woo!
Woo! All right. So before we start talking about the game, how are you guys doing?
Todd, I gotta be honest, I've got some feelings toward our co-host here, Josh.
Oh, because I slandered you on our social media?
It has a little to do with the public slandering. So in our last bonus round episode, we talked a little bit about a blog that I wrote 15 years ago where I review cereals. And then 2 years later, I wrote a blog reviewing candy bars. And Josh, let's just say he disagreed with a couple of my takes, which is fine. Even I, going back and reading it, disagreed with some of young Paul's thoughts on candy bars. And
but what about the cereal too? Because come on,
yeah, some of the cereal takes were different. But Josh picks a fight with me on Discord, ripping me for all of these selections, and then proceeds to tell me that his favorite candy bar...
Turn off the mics, Todd.
His favorite candy bar is a Score bar by Hershey's.
Oh my goodness.
Delicious.
What? Todd, please back me up.
Delicious.
Please back me up that this is the worst candy bar take you have ever heard.
I don't... What is a Score bar?
See, that's the problem. Exactly. Todd does not...
What's a Score bar?
A Score bar is like a Heath bar, but infinitely better.
What's a Heath bar?
Goodness, Todd.
It's like eating Candy Rocks.
It's toffee. It's toffee. It's English toffee.
Okay, so you're telling me the oldest person on our podcast is a toffee lover.
I'm not okay. I didn't say Werther's Originals was my favorite. Okay, I said Score bar.
It was implied.
And in my defense, I said, and Paul even screenshotted this and took this completely out of context, like a paparazzi would, and said, and just post, my favorite is Score, and then I said English toffee good or something like that. But immediately under that, I said, also Reese's Cups are my favorite.
Yes, which Reese's Cups is an acceptable answer. Score being in your top 25 is unacceptable. This is so funny to me.
When you go to an ice cream shop, the number one topping that you probably have on your ice cream is toffee. Am I right?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite candy and favorite topping is two different things.
Very different. I love toffee. There is not a candy bar that I don't like. Okay, I love all candy bars.
Well,
but if I ranked them all, Score legitimately for me, like if I went to a candy bar aisle at a grocery store or in the gas station and someone told me you can pick out 35 items and they all have to be different, there is no way one of my 35 is a Score bar. So I just thought that was such a funny thing.
You are missing out, Paul. You are missing out there. I'm going to buy you a Score bar and I'm going to record you eating it. So that you can just, there's no way you're going to be able to hide.
This is fascinating footage.
The intense pleasure that a Score bar brings to you. You can try to hide it, but it's not going to happen.
To swing back, one last comment. If you had just said, Josh, hey, my favorite candy bar is a Score bar, and that was it, I'd have been like, that's kind of weird, dude, but you do you. I get, all right, sure, toffee's delicious. I get it. It's sugar surrounded by chocolate. You can't really go wrong. But it was only that you took such a hard stance at how bad my takes were, and then you just proceeded to bring the worst take I've ever heard in regards to candy. So,
I mean, I don't know.
So, Paul, what's your favorite candy?
You know, it's funny you asked, Todd, because I think you and I share this in common. My favorite
we all like this candy bar.
Is an Almond Joy. Almond Joy is the perfect candy. The texture with the almond and the coconut by itself would probably be too sweet. The almond helps balance it a little. It's I love coconut and chocolate. It's the best candy bar.
There's 3 candies that I steal from my kid's Halloween bag, and that's Reese's Cups, Kit Kats, and Almond Joys. Because nobody's cool enough to give out score bars for Halloween, so
I don't think anyone would.
They would come back and egg your house if you handed out score bars on Halloween.
All right, guys. I think we should end the candy podcast and get back to some games if you're cool with that.
I'm hungry,
Sure.
though. Yeah.
All right. So I saw in the news, it's just a rumor, but I think Paul's going to be pretty excited. Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster will be out before next April.
It's not a rumor. I think it's coming out. It's a Mass Effect remaster. Yes, I am the world's biggest Mass Effect fan. I shared in one of our bonus round episodes that I've beaten Mass Effect 1. I stopped counting somewhere 16, 17 times. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. I love that game so much. I'm in the middle of playing it right now. You guys have probably seen me online in Discord.
So, have you gone through, do you think you've gone through every playable option?
Just about. So I always play my first playthrough straight Paragon. Like, I am a straight good guy when it comes to games. And then that's my official canon entry in my brain. And then once I finish that, I go back and I have to immediately go Renegade Shepard, which is so much fun. I mean, he's a despicable person, but in this playthrough, this is, gameplay, whatever, 18, 19. I'm going full Renegade. I have exterminated multiple species in the universe. The Rachni are gone. The Thorian are gone. I'm slapping women reporters in the Citadel. I'm my favorite part is that every single time the Council, which is like the authority figure at the Citadel, they call me for an update, and I always immediately hang up on them. And then the last time they called, I answer, and they say, "Commander Shepard, you're not just answering to hang up again on us, are you?" And I go, "You know it," and then immediately disconnect the call, and it's hilarious. I love it.
That's funny that you mentioned the Paragon thing, though, because as much as I love trolling people and having fun and picking on people, I mean, even you with your candy bar thing, we've been having great fun with that, but it's I can't be bad in a video game. I have serious moral dilemmas in that playthrough. And I generally don't replay games a whole lot, so it's I don't get the fun and the joy of being the complete jerk the second time around. I feel guilty, man, and I know they're just video game characters, but I can't do it. Red Dead Redemption, there were so many times I wanted to take the mean route, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I'm totally with you, Josh. The first playthrough, I'm exactly the same way. It would probably make me feel sick to my stomach to make all these terrible decisions, but I guess it's almost like the Groundhog Day paradox or something. I've already done it once, and that's locked in. So I feel the second go around, it's almost like this doesn't count.
Yeah, you've done your work to save the universe. That's it. I've done my job. I've saved the universe. I've been a paragon. Now it's time.
But even in Skyrim and Witcher, you're good in all of them.
I legitimately have a problem being deliberately mean to good people. Now, if they're bad in the game, then I have no issues whatsoever, being completely horrible to them. Red Dead Redemption, some bandit tried to steal my horse. I knocked that guy out, tied him up, carried him to the train tracks, and laid him on the train tracks until the train came along. He deserved that. That's what you get for being a bandit. But the good, law-abiding citizens, I can't just, I can't be mean to them, man. I can't, rob them blind or shoot them or something like that. I don't know why. I've got moral issues there.
So, with Red Dead, sometimes you would find yourself in the middle of nowhere without a horse, and then the only way to quickly get back to town or wherever is to shoot someone off of their horse and just steal their horse. You would spend the 5 minutes and just run.
They'll hang a man for stealing a horse, Todd. Horse robbery is no laughing matter, okay? Especially in the Wild West. No, I would run. I'm not stealing some innocent guy's horse. I can't do it.
I would probably play 60% good, 40 bad. So overall good, but then there's some occasions where it's a guy on the side of the road and he's like, help me with my wagon. And I'm like, okay, buddy. And then I just murder him and then take everything and keep going.
So you're like chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried in storyline. I tend to lean good, but then like in interactions with the just normal whatever players, like I'm chaotic.
So just giving into them impulses. So it's like you set out to be good, but then the impulses happen and you're like, I couldn't control it. I don't know what happened.
Right. And then in Skyrim, it gets me in trouble because there were cities that I couldn't go to because the tower guards would just kill me like on sight.
That's what you get.
So like there was parts where I couldn't finish the storyline because I just wasn't allowed in that city. And then I'm like, well, like that's where I am now.
For me, there's one exception to the rule where I always go Paragon the first playthrough, and I'll always be a law-abiding citizen. There's just something about the GTA universe that pulls it out of me where I'm so sorry to the citizens of Los Santos in GTA 5. Every once in a while, like before I'm done, I'll save and then I'm just going to drive and I'm going to run over 200 people and cause chaos. I don't know what it is about GTA, but it's just so funny just driving around causing as much mayhem as you can.
Is there being good in that game? Like you're selling drugs and trafficking arms.
And robbing banks.
Like there's no like, you can do a playthrough where you own a grocery store and like you just live a normal life. Like,
okay,
those aren't options.
Well, okay, look, GTA 5, I'm 100% with you. And it's one of the reasons I didn't love GTA 5. No matter what, you're a pretty bad character. But GTA 4 had a bunch of moral choices, and you could be a good Nico Bellic. There were options where you would have to like shoot and kill someone or let them go and just tell them you have to disappear and I'll never see you again. And I always played that way. So Nico, GTA 4, I think you could do a pretty good playthrough. The only people he ever killed was to defend his cousin. And that's self-defense of others, buddy. So don't you be besmirching my buddy Nico's name.
Paul once picked on me because we were doing a heist in GTA 5, and the guy said, you need to lay low, make sure you don't draw the attention of the police. And so I stopped at all the stop signs and the red lights and stuff. And Paul was like, you don't need to be that careful. And I'm like, dude, they said keep the cops off of us. I'm obeying traffic laws right here. You know, but yeah, I agree with Paul 100%. Like GTA 5, I have carte blanche to just do whatever in that game. Like there is no feeling bad in that because they're not moral choices. Like that lady that's driving the sports car that stops at the red light, she deserves to get yanked out of the car and thrown on the ground. Like that, you know, that's Los Santos for you. That your car's nicer than mine. I need to go fast.
That's a regular Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
World.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't feel bad about that at all.
All right, guys, I have one more piece of news before we jump into the game. It's mainly for me, mainly for the fans. I think you guys are going to hate it, but I don't care. Halo 2 for PC and the Master Chief Collection comes out on May 12th.
Oh, wow.
That is very soon.
That's exciting. This episode's going to release on the 11th.
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so it's tomorrow in the future.
Wow.
I like Halo 2,
I'm
man.
Jazzed.
Halo 2 is a lot better than what we played.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how the game holds up. Like they've had a while now to work out the kinks for Master Chief Collection on PC. It's been a while since I've played it. I already bought all the games as a bundle. So I'm definitely going to at least do like the co-op playthrough.
Paul, do you think he's going to try to talk us into getting Halo 2 to play with?
Do it, guys.
Of course he is.
Come on.
And if I'm remembering back to the Halo episode, I think that I've vowed to not buy any other parts of the Master Chief Collection, but I am already backtracking on that a little. I would be tempted to play Halo 2.
I at least want to play the co-op like campaign through Halo 2, and like, yeah, I think they've worked out some of the kinks in the multiplayer that we are having. But I loved that campaign, and I've played it through, I don't know, probably as many times as Paul's played Mass Effects.
For $10, Todd, I might.
We
I don't
gotta
want to
do
make
it.
any promises, man.
Paul,
You'll hold
I need
me
a
to
verbal
it,
commitment.
You know what? I'm in favor just so we can put more Halo games at the bottom of our
Oh,
leaderboard.
good point, Paul. That would.
The more Halo that we review, the
jeez.
more we can make Todd angry and cry himself
If we
to
get
sleep.
Halo 2 and play
goodness.
with Todd, and it's terrible, he's gonna
I'd
cry.
cry.
I was gonna say, you legitimately
cry
grown
on
man
air.
cry on this. All right, I'm in just to see Todd cry. Let's
All
go,
right, guys.
Let's go, Paul.
I'm ending the segment, and let's jump into Valorant.
Oh yeah.
So here's the review that no one asked for. Each week we talk about one game, and this week we're talking about Valorant. Let me read a quick blurb from the publishers, then we can get started. Imagine this. Tactical shooter meets supernatural powers. Everyone's got guns and your unique set of abilities. So how do you beat someone with the speed of wind? Use your own moves to outplay them and beat them to the shot. Valorant is a game for bold strategists who dare to make the unexpected play, because if it wins, it works. That's a weird game description. I don't know if I pulled the right one from the website, but I mean, most of it was describing like how awesome their servers were, or like how low latency everything is, and precision and aim and all that. And I was like, this is the only one that actually talks about gameplay.
That's a strange description.
I know.
Can I shorten that a little bit? Are you ready? Ready for
Yes.
Paul's tweet link
Hot take.
description? The love child of CSGO and Overwatch. That's all you need to know.
100%. Yes.
But like mainly CSGO.
It's
like
probably
3/4.
75%. Yeah, CSGO, 25% Overwatch.
Which, I mean, it's fine if you like CSGO. If you like Overwatch, it would be a hard switch.
That's fair enough.
Yes. I think, so before we get into the game a lot, like, hopefully people have heard of this game by now, and if they haven't, then you're missing out, and you should definitely look into this, because it is just the raging hotness right now. How you get into this beta is pretty unique, and you got to give Riot credit for their marketing on this. What they did is they gave Valorant to a bunch of high-level Twitch streamers, very popular guys like Tim the Tatman and Summit 1G and a bunch of other guys, Myth and those guys. If to get into the beta, you have to link your Riot and your Twitch account. They're both free to sign up. It's super easy to do, so go do it. And then you have to watch a streamer that has drops enabled that's playing Valorant. That's it. You have to have your volume up. You can't mute the Twitch stream itself, although you can mute the Google tab up top if you don't want to hear it the whole time.
It's a pro tip right there.
It really is. And then it's just 2 hours of view time, and then you qualify. You can keep watching if you want, but you don't have to. They say that it improves your chances of getting a beta invite the longer you watch. But at that point, all of a sudden, magic happens, and voila, you get an invite to the Valorant beta.
And for me, it took me probably a full 8-10 hours of just watching it in the background.
Yeah, I really don't like
which isn't too bad. And then, Paul, I think you got yours pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, I think it was day 2, and I have a little bit of a confession to make. I did not watch a single second of any Valorant stream. I legitimately did not even totally understand what this game was right away, because I just knew Josh wanted to play this game, and here's how to get the beta. I was like, all right, whatever. And I would just immediately click on 24/7 stream, drops enabled Valorant, and I would immediately just minimize it and walk away from the computer. But yeah, I think I got mine on day 2.
Listen to you guys. You guys are both doing this on purpose. You're rubbing it in.
It's so funny.
Because I was the one that wanted to play more than anybody. It took me like 2 weeks, no lie, of watching streams for legitimately like 6 to 8 hours a day. Like, you can ask my family. They would come into there's Valorant, on Twitch on the computer screen. And I watched a lot of it too. And something was wrong with my account. My region was wrong. And you guys were all getting your keys. Everybody got a key except for me. And I was so upset. And Todd, you were even like, dude, you can use my key. Like, that was very, very generous of you. Yeah. But it was like, I didn't want to use yours because I wanted to be able to play with you, later on too. And I don't know if they're unique or if they're redeemed or whatever. So, but I did finally get in after 2 weeks. Thanks for pouring salt in the wound, guys. That was a rough time in my life. I still have scars from that, but I did finally get in.
Well, you have more
Yeah.
than one key. You want to tell the people how many beta keys you end up with?
No, because people are going to be asking now. People are going to be like, dude, hook me up with that spirit. So I now have 3 separate beta invites. They finally all came through. I don't know what the issue was, but yes. So now I have 3
now they're
accounts.
not too hard to get. Like at the beginning when this game was like blowing up, it was pretty hard, but I'm pretty sure they're widely available.
They're giving them out at a fair clip, but there's so many people that are trying to get in. So anyway, to the listeners, it's not hard to do. Just that's how you get in.
So, what is this game? We compared to CS:GO, Overwatch a little bit. But do one of you guys want to explain it?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So in this game of Valorant, you are playing in teams of 5v5. And you are playing a pretty epically long best of 25 rounds for a match. And the first half, you're either on offense or defense, and then it switches halfway through. So you're always either an attacker or a defender. The attacking team has a spike, which is like a bomb. And their goal is to either kill everyone on the enemy team or to plant the spike and have it go off. The defending team wants to either kill all the attackers or to disable the spike. And it's kind of an interesting game because if you're just running around in this game, you're like clopping around with these super heavy clogs, like on hardwood floor. I don't know what it is with the sound in this game, but these players make so much noise while running around that it kind of forces you to play a little bit more stealth. So you have to, if you're at least a good player, you're going to be doing a little bit more stealthy movement with either crouching or walking slow. And it's very highly tactical, so you have weapons that you can buy at the beginning of the round, and you get more money if you've played well in the round before. There's a bonus if you won the round, and a bonus for every kill. And basically, you create your loadout, and you play against the other team. Each round is, I think, 100 seconds long, so they're relatively short, but if you end up playing a full, 13 to 12 match, it'll end up being, probably pretty close to an hour.
See, and that's one of the hardest things I have about this game is 13 rounds, best of 25. It takes forever to go through a full round. What is it, 45 minutes to an hour?
If the round goes long, it's a legit commitment. You've got to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to play some Valorant for the next hour.
Yeah,
there's no quick hopping
one
on.
round.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is you can know that you're going to probably not win 8 to 10 games into it. There's normally a clear, or there can be a clear winner, but you still have to play to 13 games. So it's just another 20 minutes of, we're probably not going to win this. They're outgunning us. I'm stuck.
Yeah. And you can't leave. It's not like Overwatch where you can leave a poor game and then re-queue and find a new one. If you leave the game and you try to go back, it sticks you back in the same game. Even if you 10 minutes later, if you're okay, and that game's still going on, you're getting put back in that game that you signed up for. So there's no dodging in this either.
Yeah, I remember one time we all exited out of our game because we wanted to play with a friend who came on 10 minutes after we started a match, and we're like, oh, this is going to be another 30 minutes before we can play with them. Let's all leave. And then we waited we closed our game, and then we booted back up the game, and it just put us right back into the match.
Yeah.
And it was just they take this serious. You can't get out of it. Once you're in a match, you're playing that match or you're not playing.
Yeah. Paul kind of touched on the aspect of it. The gunplay in this game is very, very similar to CS:GO. So if you've played Counter-Strike in the past, you know what this game plays like. If you have not, then a very simple rundown is, this is not a run and gun shooter. This is a highly tactical, slow-paced, kind of akin to Rainbow Six Siege, but different. Time to kill is super, super quick. One headshot and somebody's dead. And so sight lines become very important.
The only way I can think of it is this isn't a game you aim down sights.
No, that's actually bad.
A lot of games, right? A lot of games like Rainbow Six or Call of Duty, you aim down sights and that gives you the precision, and that's how you take people out. In this game, that doesn't really work. There is aiming down sights, but it doesn't help with anything. It actually hurts, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So you fire from the hip, and they have like I personally don't like that firing style, but it's hard for me to control my bullet spray. And like I got really frustrated once I realized the reticle like moves in and out, but your bullets can go outside of the reticle. Like they can go wildly outside of it. And I didn't pick that up until honestly fairly recently when I was like rounding a corner and then one of my bullets went like a mile over the guy, and I was like, what is going on? And it was because I was walking while shooting, and even though my little reticle like went wide, I didn't realize how wide that circle actually was.
Yeah. It's the shooting style is very different than other games, especially if you've been playing a lot of battle royales. So if you're in Apex or Warzone or something and someone starts shooting at you, your immediate muscle memory is probably to jump, strafe, run, and then as soon as you see them, you keep jumping while shooting in their direction or strafing while shooting. And in this game, you can't do that because the aim system makes it to where you cannot hit the broadside of a barn if you're still moving at all. So as soon as you and an enemy see each other, it is a little odd that both people will immediately stop and start shooting at each other. And that's not necessarily like what you immediately want to do with reaction time if you've been playing other games, unless you're used to it from Counter-Strike.
I have a hard time with that because I feel like my strongest skill set in first-person shooters is tracking. Like, I'm not a great Twitch shooter, like, but my tracking is pretty solid. So, like, in Overwatch, I'm more of a soldier than I am a widow. But in this game, there really isn't tracking. It's you have to have that like immediate response, which it's super well polished. And if you're good at that, like this game will reward it. But I feel like that's not my skill set. So then it's been like a pretty big learning curve for me.
Yeah, the best tip that you can get for this game is to just anticipate what level someone's head will be around the corner. And then as soon as you see them, you click. So there's no seeing the player and then aiming. You have to guess where their head will be. And then when you see them, you have to immediately click. There's no aiming. You just have to kind of preemptively, guess where they're going to be located. And it's definitely a different style. I don't mind it, but it took a complete mind shift to get used to it after a couple rounds.
And you feel real bad at first. Like you feel real bad because it tracks your KD ratio, and it's like you start off 3 and 20 and you're like, I am so bad at this game. But then you learn, and that's the thing is it's different than any other first person shooter out there. Movement is critical. You cannot move and shoot at the same time. Like plain and simple, if you do, you're going to die. So it's more about how you peek corners and watch sight lines and where you position your team so that you can cover entrances into that point and things like that. So it is very highly tactical. And it is the Riot has said this is a shooter first game, meaning yes, there are abilities that the characters have, and we should touch on that in just a second. But at heart, it is gunplay. That's what matters. The aiming is pixel perfect. If you're aiming on somebody's head and you fire one shot, you're headshotting those people. Like there's not sway or anything to worry about in that regard.
Yeah. So we touched on buying a little bit. We touched on aiming super important. And a lot of that is pretty dang close to CSGO. How does this game make itself different from CSGO?
Yeah. So it's going to be the character abilities. So in this game, I don't know how many, maybe 10 characters. And each one has its own little skill set where you can do different things. One of your abilities will be on a cooldown, so that one's always available every so often. The other ones, you actually have to spend money in order to use them. You can almost think of like having to buy a reagent in World of Warcraft to do a spell or something like that. And so some of the characters are very defensive oriented, like Sage can put up a wall, very similar to Mei in Overwatch, and it'll block off a path. So either they can't go that way, or they're going to have to give away their location by shooting it to blast their way through. Other characters are much more offensive related, where maybe they can flashbang a team, so that way they can throw that around a corner and then round it and try to shoot them. So you do have the magical abilities in this game that are going to make it stand apart from Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and that to me, I played a good bit of Counter-Strike back in the day, but it kind of just got boring to me after a while because I'm not super Twitch-oriented like Todd. Like, I generally tend to be better at tracking people than flick shots and stuff like that. But I think the supernatural abilities in this game work really, really well. And to me, that blend is what really, really helps me enjoy it, you know, and the strategies involved with that. Every character is a little bit different. Yeah, they kind of fall into certain classes and stuff. But I really enjoy the ability portion of it. And to me, that's what sets this apart.
And yeah, I agree with you. Like, I, for the most part, don't play CSGO. Like, it's been a really long time since I've loaded it up. But this game helps me where CSGO doesn't, where, like, you can block off a choke point, or you can throw a wall, or you can throw tripwires, or, like, there's a lot of things you can do to basically guard an area by yourself, or, like, help control the sightlines that I do really like. Like, I don't think I'd play this game if it didn't have those abilities.
Yeah, I agree. I would just go play Counter-Strike at that point.
Without the abilities, it would be very boring just sneaking and staring at a corner for 30 seconds at a time. The abilities, I think, are what make it fun to play.
Yeah, and there's risk reward too. I mean, if you go to use an ability, you put your gun away, there's an animation for it. And so I can't tell you how many times I've died trying to use an ability when a guy rounds a corner and shoots me in the face instead, because there's the risk of, you know, hey, I'm putting my gun away and now I'm stuck in this animation, but using those abilities can turn the tide of the game at the same time. And they have ultimate abilities. So just like Overwatch, each character has an ultimate that they kind of build up, you know, over the course of the match. You probably get 3 of them during an entire match, maybe.
Yeah. And I feel like that adds another level of, like, either risk reward or, like, strategy on top of it, where it's like, outside of, you know, what point are we going to push, or, you know, what am I going to spend my money on? It's like, when do I use my abilities? When's a good time to use my ult? Like, I don't want to just throw my ult as soon as I get it, but then if I hold my ult for too many rounds, then, like, I'm not getting my second ult as soon as I could. So I do feel like it adds a layer of complexity, which is nice, because now that's just like another, like, tiny chess game in this, and you're, like, trying to manage 4 or 5 things, which is fun.
The strategy in this game, to me, is my favorite part. So there is strategy in regards to either attacking or guarding the points. So right now there are 3 maps, which, by the way, have terrible names. One is called Bind. Like, who's naming a map Bind? Anyway, we'll let it go. But the maps either have 2 or 3 control points. And so there is strategy for how many people do we want on A and B and C, and who's going to guard those. And then what characters are we going to select? Because some characters are very good at defense and they're not so great on offense, but whoever you pick, that's who you have for the whole match. So I normally play Sage, and I feel way more useful on defense. On attack, I feel a little bit hamstrung. So there is some strategy there. And then there's also the strategy of, well, how are we going to rotate and do all of this? So on attack, there are times when we have split our group and we've sent one person to one end of the map. They're going to start firing, and they're going to run loud. That way they hear them, and that way they're going to think all the action is on B. And then meanwhile, the rest of the team starts sneaking to A. And then, well, the next round, maybe they're going to expect that, so let's do something different. And I love the idea of formulating your plan in between each round. And then, do any of you guys want to talk a little bit about strategy with the economy of the game?
Yeah, so the chess match within the chess match here is that you get money each round, a certain set amount. You do get a little bit of bonus if you plant the spike or you get kills or something like that. But what you don't want to have happen is your team be so poor that you can't afford good weapons. So if you don't manage that well, what happens is the enemy team is running around with Vandals and Phantoms, which are basically like the best ARs in the game. And then the other team is running around with either just pistols or like really low quality SMGs. It's really not, the fight isn't fair at that point. Like, yes, you can still win, but you're definitely at a disadvantage. So if you don't manage your money, and when your team buys guns and when they buy abilities, you'll hose yourself. Like, there is 100% strategy involved in getting your team to be well equipped and, you know, pushing the other team in the right moments. And if you die, you lose your gun for that round. So the gun that you just spent 2,900 credits on, which is expensive, and you die, you lose it. You start the next round with a pistol again.
And the hard thing is, if you just save by yourself, like, that's not as effective if your whole team is saving and spending together. Like, you have to do as a team, because if you don't, then like one player might have a good gun, but then if they die, like, the rest of your team, like, they wasted their money if the rest of the team only has pistols.
Yeah, teamwork in this game is paramount. Communication's paramount. Like, something that I've noticed in playing is that people talk. Like, there's a lot of mic communication in this game for people, because if you don't communicate and you just go in there Rambo style, you're gonna have a terrible experience. And the other team, if they're better organized and they communicate better, they're gonna steamroll you.
See, I'm curious about that, because this is in beta. It is like a semi-closed beta where like you have to invest something to be in the game. Like, just like Overwatch had an amazing community when it first came out, and now that community is watered down and like a lot of trolls in it. But it's like Overwatch is a game based off of team play. Like, I wonder how this game's going to age with the community, and if it's going to end up, like most games, go toxic, and then that's going to make the gameplay hard.
Every game turns toxic. Go read the reviews on Rainbow Six Siege. Anything left like 5 years ago will say, this is the most amazing community. I can't believe how nice everyone is. And all of the recent reviews will talk about its toxicity. Every game just goes that way. I just see it as being what happens in these games. People get used to it. The shininess wears off. All the strategies are known. And anyone who doesn't min-max in the way that is the meta build is going to get ripped. So I would say play this game now and enjoy the community, because it's not going to last.
Yeah, I found it's pretty friendly right now, which is nice to see. But people do communicate. I mean, you know, they'll tell you, hey, good try at the end of the match, even if you're outnumbered, or, you know, you did something stupid, or you whiffed 6 shots in a row and the other guy killed you with 1 headshot. You know, you're going to do dumb stuff, but people so far don't vocally punish you for that.
Right. And I've had help from other players where they'll be like, all right, guy's in heaven. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, did he die? Is he okay?
Yeah,
like,
some of the map call outs are a little interesting for this
hookah, shower.
Yeah.
What?
What does that
What
mean?
are you talking about?
No,
code?
thank you. I'm fine.
Yeah, really. No.
And so that is something that's worth researching and watching other videos to learn the names for everything. Or even just walking through the map on a custom game mode, so you learn all those call-outs, will help you a ton in this game.
Yeah, communications are key. I do like to see the amount of teamwork, and I do like to see that people actually talk. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable.
All right, I want to do a quick, like, fire round of pros and cons. Like, what do you guys like about this game? What don't you like? Let's start with pros. I think the community right now is a good call out, because it is young and it is helpful.
The polish, the tactical gameplay, this game runs extremely well. I mean, they built it for that. It's esports. It's an esports geared game. It's esports ready already. I'm sure it's going to be a huge esports type game, but it is extremely polished. The gunplay is super tight. Yes, it's different than a lot of games that we play and are used to. But if you get that and you're willing to take the time to unlearn what you've learned, I sound like Yoda now, but unlearn what you have learned. Don't move while firing.
Move while firing, you will not.
But, I mean, the game's super fun, man. It's a very well done game. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Like,
it's beta in the sense that there's not a ton of content, not beta in like the mechanics or gameplay or the game engine. All of that stuff is very, very, very well polished.
Right. Yeah. So
it's just they only have 3 maps.
Yeah, that's a definite pro for me. So what about you, Paul?
Yeah, I would just say the idea of the chess match strategy. Last round, they all rushed A. How are we going to respond? How are we going to rotate? If we hear someone on B, are we going to send one person? Are we going to send the whole team? I love that aspect.
All right. And now my favorite part, cons.
All right, I got a big bone to pick with the length of the matches. Todd already mentioned it before. It does not need to be best of 25. Guys, if this game was best of 19, do you think it's any worse?
Oh, it should be best of like 15, man. It really should.
If you win 8 games, like that should be enough.
Yes, I understand that the more rounds you play, the more accurate the outcome. Like, I totally get that. Best of 25, 99% of the time, the better team will win. So I can understand from that perspective. I would go the other way. People love things like March Madness because the underdogs actually have a chance. I would love it more if it were best of 19 or something, or, best of 15. And that way, either team has a little bit of an ability to pull off the upset. I think the length is so long.
And the round times at 100 seconds are super short. Like if it was best of 15 or best of 19 and they just added another 30 seconds to each round, like to me that would be more fulfilling, because I'm panicking the last half of the round because I only have 60 seconds.
Yeah, it goes quick. Those rounds each individual round is very fast.
That is, to me, I agree with you, Paul. That's the number one con to this game is, Overwatch, I hop in, play 1 or 2 matches, I'm in and out, 15 minutes. Valorant, you better set aside 45 minutes to an hour if you want to play a match.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest con to me. I can't think of anything else that I dislike more than that.
Yeah. So for me, are you guys ready?
Is this a list? Is this going to be? Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I wrote a list.
Outline.
I wrote a top 10 of what I don't like. No, the major thing I don't like about it is the gunplay. Like it just, I play a lot of Apex, Overwatch, like Call of Duty, Halo, and this game wants me to unlearn everything that I learn in those games. Like it's a different genre first person shooter, and like I don't have that switch in my brain where it's like, all right, when I get shot at, just stop what I'm doing and aim at the person. Or like I can't walk around the corner and shoot as I'm walking around the corner. I have to like jump out from the corner and then start shooting immediately. And it's I can't jump really, or else like I don't know.
I get that. This game, I think we've all experienced it. Todd more so, but this game can be extremely frustrating. Like there are people that are gonna get into the beta, they're gonna get in, they're gonna try it, they're gonna get absolutely wrecked, and they're gonna go, "This game's stupid." Like it's no fun.
Yeah, I had to watch videos on how to aim, where it's people giving tips on what to do when they're like aiming and firing, because it's just so different.
I get that for sure. Yeah, and that's going to be, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because it's going to be a con for a lot of people. They're going to think this game's just too hard.
Yeah, if you like Halo 2, you're going to hate this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different, although I would say it's not so much a con in the game design, it's more personal preference. I think all of us would agree this game accomplishes everything that it wants to accomplish, but it just won't be for everyone.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think the firing is very, very polished. I'm just not used to it. I was never a big CSGO person, and it's like, some people don't like third-person shooters, and that's fine. Like, if you don't like it, like, you don't have to play those games. And I'm fine not playing Valorant for that reason. All right. So we said kind of what we think about the game. I don't think this game really has too many reviews. Paul, do you have anything from the community on this game?
It does not have reviews because it is not on Steam. It is on Riot Games Launcher, which does not have reviews. Also, if you go to Metacritic, it might just be because it's in beta, but there are no user scores there yet. And so I took it upon myself to read thousands upon thousands of YouTube comments, sifting through the garbage on the internet, trying to find some decent comments to read. I do think I got a couple.
Just wait, are you okay?
I'm not okay.
That's a dark place to go to.
In my brain, I was thinking better you than me, but then that seemed insensitive. So,
yeah, it was.
Sorry, Paul.
It was not the most pleasurable experience, I will have to say. But I did actually find a couple comments that I enjoyed. So I'll go ahead and read these to you guys here. This game looks like a potato. Finally, something for my PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Josh said it earlier, it's eSports ready. Like, they built it so it works well on any computer.
Yeah, this game is not like using all 8 gigs on your video card to render graphics or anything. This game is very responsive. It does not look like a top-of-the-line game coming out today, but I think that's by intention. They want this game to be fully responsive to the controls. And so even though half the comments make fun of it, saying things like, why does this look like games I played on GameCube? Or this looks like a mobile game. A lot of them do make that comment, but I think it looks fine for what it is.
Fine. They really are. I mean, I get slandering them, but they're more than acceptable for what the game is.
Yeah, it's stylized that way so it can run on any computer. And like, honestly, I think one of their missions is like to run at 155 frames on an average computer. Like, they would rather have high frame rates than like stunning graphics and ray tracing.
Right.
Yes, especially for people who claim they can tell the difference between 140 FPS versus 160. You know, you're gonna have to appease those people as well. Yeah, I have trouble believing it, but whatever. All right, next comment here is maybe my favorite. When you copy someone's homework, but he tells you to change it just a little bit so the teacher doesn't notice. I mean, this game feels like the embodiment of that comment, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's CS:GO, but you know, you put your name on it and then you changed like the opening sentence for the paragraph.
In 1880, he was born instead of he was born in 1880. It's just enough different that you can get by.
It's such a beautiful love child, though. It really is. Like, I get it. It's, you know, it's got 90% CS:GO DNA, but that other 10% just makes for a beautiful baby.
But yeah, I mean, that's what they've been doing in Battle Royales, where Apex brought like the ping system and something slightly different, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that's practically Fortnite in and PUBG." It's like, no, it's different enough. And Warzone did the same thing, where it's different enough. This feels like that, where it's like it's different enough from CS:GO, where they bring in something slightly new, and like it's acceptable.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And then the last comment that I have here, I did enjoy because it's an aspect of the game that we haven't brought up yet. But here's the comment. I don't understand why you need 10 different smoke skills in a game.
There's a lot of smoking going on.
We did not break down every single character, but every character throws out either a wall or a giant sphere, which essentially is just smoke. They're just different colors. It's either fire, or it's poison, or it's smoke, or it's like Cypher's weird impending vision ability where it like rearranges the atoms. They all do the same thing. They're not different.
In my defense, I am a non-smoker, and I play Breach, who does not. He's one of the very few characters that does not have any smoking ability whatsoever. So I say no to smoking.
So I had a hard time at the beginning of this game because I thought all the different textures for those bubbles and everything would affect your character differently. I didn't know it was just all the same thing, just skinned different. Like, for me, it's like, oh, if it's smoke, like, all of it should be the same smoke color. If it's purple, like, am I going to get damaged if I walk inside of it? So, like, I would avoid those areas if it was, like, looked like poison or looked like the weird glitching thing. because I thought it was going to do something to my character. I didn't realize it was just to obstruct like the
Vision.
sightline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really all it does. Everyone, for the most part, just has some kind of line of sight ability, and they kind of make it sound cooler than it actually is. Like, yes, the fire will damage you, as opposed to the ice just slows you down. But by and large, a lot of the abilities look different, but they're actually basically the same. So, that's all I have from the community. I'll be curious to see what reviews look like once they actually start coming in. But I will say, I was a little surprised. A lot of people said this game looks really boring. And I feel like this game's very intense when you're in it. It might be boring to watch someone else because you're like sneaking around corners, but when the action happens, it happens fast. So I feel like you would never accuse this game of being boring. It's long.
I mean, I watched 400 hours of Twitch gameplay trying to get into the beta, so I don't think it's boring to watch either, really.
Yeah, so I'll be surprised on how those reviews come out once they're available.
So if we can't guess the score, does that mean I automatically win for this week?
Absolutely not. I would never do that.
What? Paul, back me up here.
That's not an option.
Back me up, Paul.
I think we'll just wait until next episode.
All right, so I want to throw a curveball since we're not going to have a winner for Guess the Score.
You play baseball, Todd?
Yeah, I didn't know that, Todd.
Yeah, I can throw a wicked curveball.
Wait,
but
is this going to be a wicked?
A wicked smart.
Is this a wicked smart curveball?
But so what I want to do is, for introducing the next segment, since we're not going to have a winner, have you guys played the three-headed singer game where everyone just says one word?
I am familiar with the game. I listen to some improv podcasts. I know what you're talking about.
I won the 1994 three-headed woman championship.
Three-headed woman?
Is that what he called it? I don't know. Did he just say the three-headed singer? Sorry.
Yeah, it's a three-headed singer, not a three-headed woman.
That shoots my my championship.
Wait, are we just introducing the segment, or are we giving it a rating based on this game?
Introducing, and then we can say how we feel about it.
All right.
Hello
and
welcome
to
Make Love
Marry
or
Murder, in
which
we
try
to categorize
Valorant
with
one
of our
selections.
Make
how do you follow up selections?
all right. I think we're good. Like we that was better than I anticipated, so I'm proud.
I didn't know where you were going with that curveball, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I hope we never have to do that again.
Yeah,
and just always have a winner. But yeah, so we're playing a segment, Make Love, Marry, or Murder, which we say if we want to make love, marry, murder the game. Pretty straightforward that a three-headed person can explain it. Who wants to go first?
I nominate Josh.
Oh, me? Okay. I was going to tell Todd to get his out of the way. I am going to marry this game, man. It's super fun. I actually want to play this game. Like, I want to go play Valorant right now. And I don't see that going away anytime soon. Like, it's just one of those, this game's always going to be fun. It's always going to be competitive. It's always going to be challenging. I want to get better. I don't want to suck at this game. Even though it can be super infuriating at times, and I just want to uninstall at times. It's like, this is a long-term awesome game. I can only imagine that they're going to add more maps, more characters, continue to refine it. I'm in for the long haul. It's a merry baby.
All right, guys. I'm gonna just say mine, Murder. I can't. I just no.
I just can't.
It's fine. It's just not my type of game. Like it's
she's a nice girl. You're just not attracted to her.
Yeah. It's not her. It's me.
I mean, if Todd doesn't like super hot, popular girls, I understand. because Valorant's super hot and popular right now.
But she dumb.
She dumb. She dumb.
She dumb.
I'm a murder. It's not the game. The game's super polished. It's fun. It's a fresh take on CSGO. I'd rather play this than CSGO, but I would rather play Overwatch or Halo or Destiny than this game.
Despite the social media abuse that I took from Josh earlier this week, I've got to back him up here. I'm going Mary for Valorant. I think it is a spouse that is trustworthy and consistent. I know what I'm getting from it, and she's still challenging me in all the best ways, making me better over time. I'm all in. This is a Mary. This is wife material, 100%. I'm all in.
All right, and
wise,
then
Paul.
the last question, is it worth the price?
Your ego?
No, I was going to say, 8 hours on Twitch?
I was going to say my
price.
ego, because this game makes me feel like I am terrible sometimes.
Yeah.
It's free to play. They said when it fully releases, it will be free to play. Obviously, they're trying to get you to buy, character unlocks and things like that. But this is hands down an amazing game, especially for being free.
Yeah, well worth the price. At least give it a try. If you don't like it, fine, delete it. You're not out anything. I think it's well worth it.
All right, guys, think it's time. Let's go to the leaderboard and see where this game stacks up.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Might get contentious.
All right, guys.
I can't wait to put this above Halo.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you? We have a list of games that we reviewed, and we put them in a stack order from 1 to 13. Where should I start? I'm gonna we have Keep Talking and No One Explodes in the middle at 6.
Higher.
The Cycle at 7. Higher. All right, Warzone 5, Rainbow Six Siege 4, Rust 3.
We're getting tough.
Higher?
We're getting into the.
Okay,
no.
Okay,
no.
good.
Don't get crazy.
All right,
I'd start at 4 down.
All right, for me, it's not better than Rainbow Six Siege.
No.
I love busting through walls. I love all the technology things and how they do choke points and how you can just open up a whole new room that this game doesn't offer. Warzone, I would rather play Warzone.
I'd rather play Warzone.
I would. That part's tough.
Here
for
we
me,
go.
Man. I
Down
know.
the list.
No,
Keep Talking.
It's better than Keep Talking.
It's better than Keep Talking.
Is it better than the Cycle?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm already getting tired.
We can
of the Cycle.
all agree that the Cycle is better.
No, I'm kind of. I've hit
we
that
are
wall
all
with the
currently
Cycle, man.
agreeing.
Todd cuts the mics. They're shaking their heads. Yes, we all agree.
Right.
No, to me, that's where I put it. I would put it at 6. It's not as good as Warzone, but I think it is better than Keep Talking, better than the Cycle, far better than Civ 6.
Yeah,
that's
I
where
think
I'd put it.
I agree. That's my comfort zone. I'd
put it under the Cycle, but I'm willing to compromise.
I'm in that honeymoon period right now, with that Marry the Game. So I would easily want to play this game over Warzone and even Rainbow Six right now. But once the newness and the magic wears off, I think having it under Warzone is the right call.
Yeah.
All
right. I'm fine with that. So you guys want to do 6?
For the long haul.
6.
Yeah, let's do 6.
Valorant has legs.
We could put it under Halo at 12. That's an option.
Wait, what's Halo doing so high rank? Did you mess up the rankings, Todd?
Oh man, we need to review Halo 2 and get it at least in the top 10.
It's hard to imagine Halo 2 going below Halo Reach. I will give you that.
Sweet. All right, guys. I'm good to lock it in. All right. That wraps up the leaderboard segment for our show today. If you want to view all of our rankings, you can find them on our site at multiplayerpodcast.com. It was fun hanging out this week playing Valorant. If you're interested in more multiplayer podcast content, don't forget to subscribe to the Multiplayer Podcast on your podcasting app. and stay up to date with our Twitter @multiplayerpod. It's where you get juicy stuff like Paul's hot takes on cereals and candies from 15 years ago at this point.
Ooh, yeah, sell it. That's a great sell
That's
right there.
relevant content.
I feel like I owe Paul an apology for trolling him on our social media. Like, I feel like it's the right thing to do.
I don't want an apology for that. I want an apology for your bad take.
I can't apologize. I just can't. I'm sorry.
love how it pulled Paul out of like a Twitter account.
Twitter hibernation.
Inactive for 4 years to clear his good name.
My Twitter account was created in 2010, and I made my 4th tweet because I had to go defend myself against Todd this week, or against Josh.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Next week, we're going to cover what I view as like a great game, Deep Rock Galactic.
It is a great game. Rock and Stone.
Do one of you guys want to describe the game real quick?
Dwarves, beer, using axes to chop in caves until you fight a bunch of monsters and escape together.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
Description. Yeah.
Co-op.
All right.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yep. All right, guys. See you next week.
Rock and Stone.
It's not a rumor. That is not my best, Arnold. I'm not an impressionist, but that's my best.
If you want to try it again.
Yeah, try again.
No.
All right.
It's over.
All right, cool.
Darn it. I was
All
really
right.
hoping he'd do that and we could capture that one too.